Hello and welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI tournament. My name is Shonko from makingcomputerroutings.com and I will be your caster today. Let's get into it. The first game today is Qbot versus Sparks, and Sparks is a bot known for its worker rush, but I'm not entirely sure that's what we will see here, as it is starting to make a supply depot. In the meantime, Qbot is just making workers, and the what is that spawning pool is already on the way. And could that be a gas trick? No, that's not a gas trick. This is just your run-of-the-mill extractor. So in the meantime, some walling off, starting three buildings, three bunkers to be exact here. This is a little bit of overkill since you don't actually have any army units to occupy those bunkers. The overlord from Qbot is already here, and two more bunkers in the mineral line. I mean, it is kind of a very stable defense, but still you need some personnel inside, and I should say that this is nothing personal, kid, at the moment. But no, there are two marines out, and two marines into 7 bunkers so far. Well, 7 proceeds, so 10. They are like these very rich marines. They have 5 houses each, and now the Mutacloud is, well, it's arriving, but staying just out of range of this refinery, I guess. I don't know. Maybe this bunker is occupied, but I don't think Qbot even has vision to that bunker. And the naturalist is well, morphing, but Zealot is shutting it down. 2 lings from Qbot, but they are not attacking the vulture. Yeah, that might be wise. And the second vulture is already arriving, and this great bunker line, it's sort of a Maginot line here, since it is a very strong defense and completely circumvented by this Mutacloud, and the mutas are not really attacking anything. So I think it's 2 derps just cancel each other out here. So the vultures are still killing not just the hatchery, but any drone that ventures into the territory. And will these mutalisks actually attack at any point? We have 6 marines. We still have more marines than bunkers, and even those bunkers are not in a range of these mutas, and a starport is getting made for some reason. So I would say maybe some Goliaths or missile turrets even. That's maybe a more pressing matter. And still the drone massacre is well, not stopping, and maybe you shouldn't send your drones. 2 evolution chambers. I don't know why. Aspire. This is just, maybe this bot is just picking buildings randomly, like, well, why not build this? This sounds like a great idea. That's how I played when I first booted up StarCraft back in 1998. I mean, you have to start somewhere. 2 more bunkers in this expansion, and the mutas are finally attacking and decimating the worker count. This bunker is still outside of the range, and the vultures are, well, finished with the natural, and they just slowly blasting down this remaining buildings. No resources for a worker and no workers left for Qbot, so I guess this is kind of over, although these mutas still exist. Let's see what is happening. A battle cruiser, yes, that's exactly what you need. I mean, it technically can shoot these mutalisks, so it is an improvement over well, everything. And this bunker, oh, they cut off a few shots. That's very good. Almost no workers left in the main base, just 1 coming back. And I don't know what to think about this battle cruiser micro. Well, something along the lines of not highly. And yep, this battle cruiser is getting massacred, and maybe a little bit more damage could have been done. And not to worry, another battle cruiser is on the way, who will definitely save the day. Well, we shall see. And well, it is outranging the mutalisks, so this micro might be a good choice in some cases, and eventually it does beat down the mutalisk incursion. And in the meantime, vultures are still blasting down this base. Vultures do a very pitiful amount of damage to buildings, but even a pitiful amount of damage is enough in the long run, and I guess this battle cruiser will attack in as well. And yeah, this is the end of Cubot. Well, this is kind of a potato game, but it was funny to watch, and I hope that these bots will come up with new stuff in the future. And let's jump into the next game. Up next, it's Haupen versus Purple Tickles, and Purple Tickles, we all know, they are just happy props who hug you to that, and let's see how will this bot react to that attack. So far so good, and all the other workers except one who is mining is coming and attacking. I think this supply might get brought up, and there is another building, surely a barracks. Yeah, it is a barracks, and well, I'm not sure. These SCVs are even repairing each other, so that's a very good sign. But eventually, these probes just seem to swarm them and kill everything. So that is well, a very ungraceful end to Haupen, but this game is going on for a lot. I can't spoiler that much. Let's see why that is. Oh yeah, that's why. It is just a lifted up building, and I guess the game will time out. I will speed this up a little bit, and yeah, indeed, that's what will happen. I don't think we need to see this all the way through. Oh, well, it is effective, so stupid strategies require stupid counter strategies. And let's have a next game. Up next, it's Brian Weber versus Crazy Protoss, and contrary to popular belief, Crazy OP is does not stand for crazy overpowered. Crazyo is the previous bot's name by the same author, and it's actually a 0 at the end, and it's just Crazyo playing Protoss, although I'm not sure there wasn't any puns intended in there, but it is Crazyo Protoss, the proper naming of this bot. And is there scouting? Well, I saw an overlord floating, yeah, but it is not floating into the right place. A scouting probe, however, is finding out the base of Brian Weber, and the natural is almost well, it's halfway done. I shouldn't say almost, but it is very well on the way. And usually Crazyo goes into a cannon rush followed by DTs and followed by carriers, and this time it is not a cannon rush, or if it is, it's a very bad one, but I don't think so, because we have other buildings that are not strictly necessary for that particular strategy. And we also already have the first target and some lings, quite a lot of lings, and at this point Brian Weber very well might just run into the base or threaten Crazyo seriously. These zealots are not in the same place at the same time, so they are very vulnerable to, well, these many lings. They try to micro a little and retreat, but and against these many links it's just not really feasible, and the links now finally run in. Let's not forget that we have some corsairs. I will return to the corsair issue in a bit, but the workers come out of the line and they defend somewhat effectively, and in the meantime the corsairs are killing a lot of overlords. I was just looking at the production tab, but you can just look at the supply count and came to the same conclusion. A lot of workers, well, not workers, overlords are being massacred, and the links are still there, but there are not enough links to seriously break this base. Two zealots are defending, retreating behind buildings, probably making choke points here. Well, that's my guess at least. And the worker defense seems to be enough, but Crazyo is not out of the woods yet. Although supply blocking Brian Weber is a good choice, the amount of links that can be sent in is very limited and costs a lot of overlords. In the meantime, no anti-air defense from Brian Weber, and these overlords make the Corsair's job easier by bunching up a lot. Do we have maybe spore colonies in the way? Well, creep colonies certainly, but no spore and no hydra dance so far. and the Lings are finally in the base. Will they break it? Probably not, because DT is out and this KP boy can one-shot any Zergling, and there are 2 KP boys, and judging by the kill count I should just promote them to KP man, and well, that's the end of the Ling rush here. Well, it's not really a rush, but the Ling attack. And now we finally have a Spore Colony, but the Spore Colony coverage is not ideal, as the main base has precisely none of it. But this position is very well fortified for the time being. But the supply block is still real, and Crazio now can tack up a little bit more. What is that building? A second Stargate, maybe for more Corsairs, maybe for the inevitable carriers, and now blocking in Brian Weber a little bit. Well, these two DTs and one Zealot will not break this defense, but they will block any outgoing links. So that is a plus for Crazio, and Crazio is expanding to the natural very wisely doing so. And will we see carrier soon? I guess, because the fleet beacon is almost done. Either this or that. Yeah, this one is the fleet beacon. More cannons for Crazio, but where are those cannons actually? This is a cannon probably, but no matter, one is here. I don't know if that was there before, but very well placed. Nice SimCity protecting the mineral line. And the Corsairs are still doing work, although there are 4 Spore Colonies, but the Overlords are not in the coverage of the Spore Colonies. So yeah, maybe you should actually move there. And this Overlord is surely dead. Every now and then a probe, drone starts to go out, maybe for scouting purposes, maybe on ill-fated expansion attempt, but the end result is pretty much the same. They are killed by this small but effective Protoss army that is containing Brian Weber. And the first carrier is out, but usually one carrier can't do much. But at this point I can't see the game going to Brian Weber, since is effectively contained. Oh, nice Scourge attack. Let me slow down a little bit to 2 times the speed. Nice Scourge attack, but still Crazio has the map, and eventually Brian Weber will just mine out, if nothing else. A little bit chase in the very edge of the map, living on the edge, I should say, if I were to make a very bad joke. And well, I'm not sure it's living per se, because this Corsair eventually will no, the Corsair will retreat into the cannon line, and well, I guess it will live on the edge. So no, well, I shouldn't make guesses about StarCraft. I should have learned that by now. But some Hydras are attempting to break out, and there are Overlords, and Spore Colonies have this nasty habit of detecting things, which is detrimental to your health if you happen to be a Dark Templar, even if you're promoted to KP man. So the base is still protected, and the Scourge deters somewhat the Corsairs, and especially the carriers, or maybe it's the other way around. Regardless, there are some air defense, and Brian Weber can maybe stabilize and actually bring up an army, but the carrier count is very worrying. Nicely intercepted up, if that's a word. It is now. And yeah, eventually they will just break this, and losing a lot of interceptors in the attempt. Some Scourge doing some good hits, but carriers have this nasty habit of having a ton of hit points and shields, and yeah, eventually Crazio on the 4th base. Still the contain is not lifted up, so it comes to the inevitable conclusion of Crazio winning this game. Well, nicely done. Some more coordination between the different arms of the military would have been welcome, or different tentacles of the military if you're a Zerg. And let's jump into the next game. Up next, it's a PvP game between Slater and FIFA Legend, and Slater is a newcomer to the scene, apparently from Australia, which actually has literally no effect on the skill of the bots, but I try to share interesting information about these bots and their avatars. I most often fail, but still it is a thing I do. So a scouting attempt here, not going to the right place first, and pretty much doing the same thing. I mean the two bots, two gateway. Is it a gateway though? Yes, it's a second gateway versus two gate, and the army count is pretty much, oh no, it's not pretty much equal anymore. Slater has slightly more zealots, but the third gateway is brought up by FIFA Legend, and no gas, which is interesting. I would have made a guess. And nice block on the ramp, but they leave that position, and Slater is a little bit hesitant to attack into this position. And let's see if Slater, yes, Slater has a gas and a cyber core, so that means that we will probably see, if nothing else, then maybe upgrades or a goon switch, or maybe some goons added to the mix here. Well, not according to the production tab. Oh no, there is some goons on the way. I confused the two production tabs for a split second, and the zealot count is equal. Slater is not really engaging anymore, but the goons are on the way, and the mixed army is generally better than one unit army. And will we see that here? This goon is not really engaging, very hesitant, and Slater's army is just getting pushed back because they kind of refuse to fight. But now the goons actually attack in, but I think they could do a little bit more and earlier. I know it is a really hard thing to do, and yeah, now you should definitely retreat. And Slater had the bigger army and the defender's advantage. I think this game might be lost on micro alone. A little bit more brave, or well, I don't know how to phrase it correctly, but the combat simulator from Slater could use some work. Still, nice early attack. And Slater is not out of this game yet. Yes, FIFA Legend is expanding, having a guess now, and maybe throwing some goons into the mix. Yep, it is exactly what's happening. And the army count is, well, not equal, but comparable, or was comparable a few seconds ago. But it seems that FIFA Legend is just using its army a little bit better and taking engagements in a, well, better or maybe having a better strategy when taking engagements. I think that's what I should say here. And please consider that writing a bot is hard, writing a good one, it's even harder. And Slater literally just came into the scene a few weeks ago, so let's cut him some slack. It is a very good bot compared to that. And FIFA Legend is just waiting for the attempt to, well, basically finish Slater off. Maybe not really finding the main base, or not really having a good idea where it is. I don't know, but it is strange that FIFA is not attacking and leaving Slater some breathing room. And now, yes, somehow this goon micro from FIFA Legend just seems better. I can't see anything else. Slater is, well, I guess attempting to make some reverse, but it's too little too late. And yeah, let's speed this up. I think this can only go one way at this point. Third base up from FIFA, and some goons are trying to defend, and Slater is not giving up. And I should say, when you're in your early stages of bot development, surrender logic is not something you should experiment with. Obviously, you should surrender if you like have no workers and no money to make them and no army. But other than that, giving up is something that can wait. And that's a very inspirational and very wrong quote. Let's jump into the next game. And up next we have a Krona versus TSCMU match here on, well, it is in Korean, but I don't actually want to guess that map's name because I always get it wrong. So this Korean map version 1.1, the match takes place, and TSCMU is a bot that has some nasty surprises, and I love how wacky plays can it produce. And Krona is actually Banana Brain is just playing a Zerg, and starting with a hatchery. Is it a macro? Yes, it is a macro hatch. Meanwhile, TSCMU is not expanding either, just building up the army, 1 barracks and 2 supply. So is that a second barracks? Yeah, no, that's a factory. So maybe a quick mech build from TSCMU, and a first few links are out. There are no considerable defense here, and that might be just the end of poor little TSCMU here. Why are they attacking the factory? It looked like they were firing on the factory, but maybe that was just something wrong with the replay viewer for a second. And 5 Marines, well, they maybe can beat back this many Zerglings. I think they can. Well, maybe they not, but barely. But the Zerglings win, and there are no new Marines in production. But there is a Vulture. 1 Vulture is still not a lot. Workers come off the line, and that is a bad sign in general. I mean, it can sometimes work, and that's not a bunker. That's probably a problem. That's a 3rd factory, and even though the micro is great from this Vulture, and this many links is too many links. I think Krona is just sending in more and more links. The link count is just enormous, and yeah, the last worker falls. There is not enough money, so that just proves that sometimes a link all-in is something that can work well. 3 hatcheries. I'm sorry, 3 hatcheries, a spawning pool, and that's it. That's it. And that is a lair morphing, maybe? Yep, it's a lair morphing. So Krona probably has some contingency plans when the link all-in just fails, or maybe just advancing through it. But in this time, it didn't fail. And that's the GG. Versus Medmix Protox. Protoss, I mean. Protox sounds like a dietary supplement, which you probably shouldn't take because you will lose your kidney or something. So, is that a cannon rush attempt? Oh yes, this is a cannon rush attempt from a Medmix itself. Or maybe not. Well, maybe it is. It's just making the forge here as well. It's like adding insult to injury. So the first 2 cannons are out, and I think Banana Brain is in serious trouble here. And I don't know how Banana Brain could defend it. Maybe cannons of its own that could work, but this is a varying amount of cannons, and Medmix is just not bothered in any way, shape or form. So sometimes the dumbest strategies are the best ones, and Medmix just found a spot where he could plop down the pylon, the forge, most funnily, because generally, even if you can rush, you don't place your forge right in the enemy base, but apparently this is something that can work, and I don't think Banana Brain can defend this. Or, well, not this way at least. Maybe some cannons of your own could work here, but apparently they do not, as Banana Brain just trying to kill it with workers, but we have more than 10 cannons now, so this is just over. So, yet again, it proves that the dumbest strategies can work if you execute them well. Although at this point I'm not sure Cannon Rush is a dumb strategy. Well, that's the GG. So it is a ZVZ this time on Destination, and it is between NLPR bot and MacRave Zerg. MacRave, famous for its Protoss bot, well, I guess famous, but a high-ranking bot would be a more apt description, as MacRave is consistently in the top 10 of bots, and MacRave Zerg is not that far behind. And an NLPR bot, I don't know much of, but I think it's a student bot. And well, another Zerg we can, sorry about that. And another bot that we can just I don't know how to characterize. Let's just jump into the game. That's the easiest. Here, some overlord scouting from both players, and these overlords meet in the middle, presumably waving to each other and smiling at the awkwardness of the situation. And let's speed this up because I don't know, nothing really interesting is happening at the moment. Sixlings versus sixlings, almost exactly the same time, as if these bots are just mirrors of each other. They meet in the middle and avoid each other. Okay, maybe that's not the best choice here. No sunkens or anything. Some links meet. No defending. Oh, there are two defending links from McRae, actually 4. And with the workers coming off the line, McRae might just beat this back. And in the meantime, oh, McRae is not running into the base blindly, but rather returning to defend. And maybe they should have done this a little bit earlier. I think these are slow links. Are they? No, they are fast links, but still. And in this time, not running into the enemy base might cost McRae the game. As we see here, yep, it did cost McRae the game, I think. The spawning pool is almost dead. McRae has no workers and no money for one. So yes, this is an interesting game, as it was basically a very short ZVZ lost by one choice. Well, you can learn from it, and we can jump into the next one. We have Nuibot versus Simplicity here, and another ZVZ. Let's hope this will run a little bit longer, because short games are generally not as interesting, although we had a few interesting ones, and sometimes they employ strategies that you can rarely see in human versus human matches, and games can be lost or won on very silly choices or very seemingly inconsequential turn of events, and I don't know if we will see that. And ZVZ is generally a little bit uninteresting in human matches, as it devolves to Zergling and Mutalisk Micro and literally nothing else. I really hope that will be not the case here. Simplicity quickly expanding to the base and having some luck. Oh, sorry about that. Having some luck because this lot of Zerglings scouted the wrong place first, and it enabled Simplicity to bring up some static defenses to Sankans, which is quite good at this stage of the game. I think if they were scouted a little bit earlier, maybe this base could have been denied, and even the main could have been seriously damaged, even wiped out. But Simplicity had some luck and now is ahead in economy, as the worker count is 4 versus 19, so it was actually a 4 pull from Nuibot's part. Oh, by the way, Nuibot is one of the new bots. I don't know what that's guess about. One of the new bots from the University of Bratislava, and well, the author is from there. The bot is just a piece of software, and it is doing quite well. It is employing a 4 pool. Well, not 4 pool anymore, I guess. And if you're a new bot author, you might be tempted to make a 4 pool bot, but I think you shouldn't. There are a lot of 4 pool bots on the ladder, and frankly it's not that interesting, and it is not as hard to make a better one. I mean, what I mean by this is the build order. Coding a build order is not the hardest part of the bot, so you should aim for a little bit more complex one. I mean, it's okay to have a 4 pool bot. I do have one myself, but it is maybe not aiding the variety of the bots on the SSCAIT ladder. And now, while I was talking about that, Simplicity is just running in with the lurkers, and at this point I don't think it matters if there are detection or not. It's just 4 lurkers is it 4? Well, there's 5 lurkers, but it's hard to tell with all the borrowing. 4 lurkers on the front line, and some Hydra and Link support. Yeah, this can only go one way, as I say often. These links will blast down the spawning pool, so basically Nuibot can make no further units, and they will just spine down everything else. Well, a nice attempt, and we hope that Nuibot will evolve a little bit more in the very near future. It seems that the theme of this cast is short games. Well, let's jump into the next one and hope it will be a little bit more longer. We have Chris Cox versus Pineapple Cactus, and Pineapple Cactus, well, it's coincidentally another ZVZ. Pineapple Cactus is a member of the Cactus family of bots playing all 3 races. I don't know how much they are sharing in terms of source code. I'm guessing a lot, because there are multiple instances of bots playing multiple races under different names, which is completely fine. I think it is just the way it should be, but these bots have pretty much the same level of play across all races generally, but that's not always true. For example, Macrave's Protoss is much better than its Zerg, and let's see how Pineapple Cactus fares against Chris Cox. And it is it a 4-pool again? I guess it's a 4-pool again. It's 4-pool versus 4-pool at this point, but there is a sunken. Oh well, how fun. And this is the battle of 4-pool bots today, it seems. I think I will just speed this up because, well, Zerglings jumping at each other is fun and all, but I don't think we want to watch that all day. So pretty much the same build, 1 more creep colony for Kisscraft, 3 workers, and quite a more links by Pineapple at this point. Let me speed this up because this is starting to get a little bit boring. Oh, and the workers are getting made from Pineapple. That's good. That means that maybe Pineapple will employ some different tactics. Guess even more links, of course, because you can't have enough links ever. An expansion, and the link contain, well, it's not still going on, so Chris Cox will send out some links every now and then, and get blocked because there is a very well placed sunken here. There is another getting made. Oh, but the natural is undefended. That's interesting. Well, that is a little bit of a blunder for Pineapple, but Pineapple has the economy and shouldn't worry too much about this. And yeah, these 2 sunkens is more than enough to defend this attack. But Chris Cox has some workers of its own, so actually these bots are branching into different strategies, and that's nice to see. Although this game has been going on for 9.5 minutes, or 9:45 for at this point, and this is a game that probably couldn't really have happened between humans because a lot of time waste was going on, and the 4-pool versus 4-pool is, well, it's just boring. I should say that Larry is being morphed by Chris Cox, and that surely means that we will see a Spire soon. The same Spire that is done by Pineapple, and yeah, Pineapple will make some mutants, and maybe that will be the end of it. Oh, where are those mutants already? Well, there is only 1 mutant. What do we have in the opposing side? There is something being morphed here. I think it is the Spire. Wasn't the Spire on the way for a long time now? Well, I don't know, but still the mutant count is 1 versus 0, and Pineapple is not attacking, although there is literally no air defense here. Well, the muta could have attacked, and it is production. Yeah, a lot of mutas being morphed at once. I think it was 6. Well, we have 6 mutas now, and quite the same situation, just in the opposite side of the map. although there are counter mutalisks, and this will be a battle of the mutalisk count. Neither player are sending zerglings across the map at this point, so this is not a classic ZVZ where you have links and mutas at the same time. And now there are some links, so running across the map, and some counter links. So this is, well, this is just a classic ZVZ at this point. Mutas and links all the way. And nice burrowing logic from Pineapple. It is rare that bots utilize burrow, and I think this is the exact use case of what burrow was invented for, just burrowing and hiding from your enemy. Although a lot of drones still getting massacred, but it is a good attempt and a step in the right direction. And Chris Cox is just massacring everything. There are still some drones, and there is a hidden expansion, well, kind of hidden. I mean, hidden in a sense that Chris Cox did not detect it, probably. A lot of sunkens and a lot of links getting massacred, but eventually they will overwhelm this sunken block. Do we have actual upgrades? No, these are all speed links without any kind of upgrades. Well, let's see what we have here. Well, I can't make this minimap go away, but there is one overlord getting killed over here, and I think this game will go to Chris Cox at this point. But another expansion, sneaky expansion, but no army, and I guess well, the spawning pool and the spire is still up from Pineapple, so Pineapple can make units and nicely defending the bases, restarting, and I wouldn't count Pineapple out at this point, especially because Chris Cox has no expansions, although there are plenty of resources in this base, but it's still a 2 versus 1 base situation. Let's not forget that. And these mutas are doing damage, but they don't do that much damage versus buildings. Maybe Pineapple's problem is that I see units being hatched here, and if you have a bunch of hatcheries and some of those hatcheries are under attack, maybe you shouldn't pick that exact hatchery to hatch units, even if you want to beat back something. And we see guardians, that is something rare, and I think it is a good choice here, because guardians do a lot of damage versus ground units and buildings, and we don't have any kind of anti-air, and we don't have any kind of anti-air that is especially effective against guardians, such as Scourge or, well, any kind of moving anti-air, I guess. And yeah, these bases eventually will get discovered, and now there is a counter mutalisk out, but it will take a long time to actually kill these guardians, and these guardians will do a lot of damage. Well, yeah, you can see this guardian's hat is just entering yellow, and they will kill maybe 1 or 2 hatcheries because before they suffer any damage, any kills, I mean, any casualties, that was the word I was looking for. And the links finally run in, they are scouting, and eventually they will find this base. I guess they just did. And yeah, this is the beginning of the end. Nice recovery and eventual victory from Chris Cox. The Link versus Link 4 pool phase went on a little bit longer than it was entertaining, but in the end it was a good game. The next game is between Cherry Pie SSCAIT 2017 and Styx Zerg, a bot by Bytekeeper. And yet another ZVZ. I know maybe we will have some other games that are not ZVZs, but let's just have this one. Cherry Pie is a bot by the Facebook team actually, and you might have guessed from the date that it is submitted to the 2017 SSCAIT competition, and sadly we didn't really see an update as of yet. Now that I hope that will change, but we don't know. But that is not really relevant right now, as the game is going on, and a quick expand from Styx Zerg, and maybe no, not an expansion. What is that? Is this sunken in the mineral line, or maybe? or maybe yeah, it's a sunken in the middle line. Interesting choice, Mr. Cherry Pie, but still. So Cherry Pie has a very great unit movement and micro of the links. So that might be something that we will see here. Still, it's not one of the very top bots, which is interesting, but how it moves around and how it handles the unit micro, it's well, it's truly great to see. Well, we don't have that many units, so we can't really witness that, and it seems that Styx maybe had the better idea here as to expanding, and maybe this many sunkens at this point of the game is a little bit too many sunkens. It's the fifth one, well, no, just the fourth one getting started. Well, no Ling attack will find its way in, I guess. Even with how many? 26 links. That's quite a lot. Nice position on the ramp, and these links are not moving in. They are waiting for their bodies, I guess. And what is Styx doing behind the scenes? Not much. It's pretty much ling all in at this point. They are speed links. We have 3 hatcheries, and yeah, that's it. Cherry Pie is building a spire, and when the first Muta comes out, maybe there will be a great turn of events, as Styx is not really prepared to handle Mutas at all at this point. Oh, and the Great Ling attack is commencing. 4 Sunkens versus 40 Lings. Well, it is a close match. Workers coming off the line as they should, and the Overlords just blocking the view of what a dumb move from them. Come on, Overlords, give us a good show. And basically almost all the workers. 1 worker remains for Cherry Pie, but a lot of Lings remain for Styx, and the Spire is destroyed. So I guess Cherry Pie is in a very bad position, and maybe Cherry Pie can restart, but I don't think so. What is Styx doing? Still on 9 workers, let's not forget that. Not making nothing as the links, and I guess Cherry Pie might be throwing up some sunkens. I don't know. This is an interesting turn because I think 50 links definitely enough to run in there. Maybe Styx is just waiting for the best moment. Ah yeah, another sunken getting brought up. And now no, it's not an engagement actually. It's actually a very dumb Ling massacre as they wander into the maximum possible range. I wonder what is happening. Maybe these Lings reach out because of the ramp? I don't know. But a lot of Lings are getting lost, and finally the attack comes. A little bit hesitant and back and forth, but well, brute force prevails, I guess, and these Lings will surely destroy the Sunkens and consequently Cherry Pie's whole base in this affair. So even though mistakes were made, I think the Ling all-in will succeed here. Oh well, I guess it is already succeeded. And let's have the next game, which is hopefully not as easy. And let's have the last game for today, which is Eggbert versus COG 2019. And like with Cherry Pie, this bot's name signifies the competition and the year it was entered in. COG Conference of Games is organized by some university in South Korea, I guess. I'm sorry, I am really bad at remembering names, and speaking of remembering things, I have no idea how Xiaoyi performed on that particular tournament, so this is a very informative introduction for you, I guess. So the opponent is Eggbert, who is well, Eggbert has been participating for a long time now. It is made by Javier Sassido, and I guess it started out as a university bot, but it is not quite that anymore. Eggbert is quite a good bot, I should say, and the map is Icarus 1.0. So yeah, that is what is happening here. Quick expansion by Eggbert and no expansion by Xiaoyi. First Marine is out, and I don't know if that's for defense or no, it's moving in or moving out. Depends on your perspective. Well, no army from Eggbert yet, but 2 barracks are plopped down, and this Marine might kill this SCV. Yeah, it will kill this SCV and at least a delayed expansion, and maybe it will kill more SCVs, and Eggbert should really have some worker defense here. But the first Marine is out, and I think Egbert's Marine fired the first shot. That means that it will win, and it indeed won, but not against the second Marine. So this is a little bit dumb, and Eggbert does not have worker defense or any care for the workers' well-being. I think if this is not a good reason to unionize, then nothing is. And the first vulture is already out. Well, I don't know how it will end, but it is not looking good for our dear Eggbert. And now the workers are defending a little, but not against the Marines. Funnily enough, they attack the vulture, but not the Marines. And this is what's happening here. Oh, well, maybe some logic went wrong somewhere, and I think this game will definitely go to Xiaoyi. And with this short game, I'm finishing this a little bit short broadcast, and I will share some news with you which might have seen before. You might have seen before. I'm sorry, I'm losing my speech pattern here. Let's speed up this game and let's have the big announcements. And yeah, Xiaoyi indeed wiping Eggbert from the face of the, well, not the Earth, the space platform thingy. Although I never quite understood how Vespin geysers and minerals can appear on a floating metal platform, but let's not dwell on that for the moment. GG to Xiaoyi, and stay tuned for the announcement. And now time for the announcement. What you can see here on the screen is Artosis playing against Brood War AI. He is using the Schnell client or StarCraft Human and AI League client, and you can too. You should watch the show matches, they were very exciting. The particular opponent here is crazy, I think, but I'm not spoiling anything. You should just go to one of Artosis' channels and watch the matches themselves. But you can also go to schnell.com, download the client and play against most, if not all, of the bots present on the SSCAIT ladder. So that is the big announcement. The client is in open beta, which means there is still work to be done, but you can try out yourself. Some of these bots were very good. So thanks again for watching and give it a try.